All right. Hey, Beast Buddies. With E3 right around the corner, I have a question related to your coverage of the event over the years. While hype and big reveals are staples of the show, so is painful cringe and facepalm-worthy decisions. So I am inclined to ask, over all the E3s you fine folk have attended, what were some of the hardest moments to sit through for each of you personally? Moments that made you slink down in your seat or look at the person next to you with a concerned glance. Thanks and keep up the good work. Craig from New York.
That guy trying to interview people on the EA red carpet last year was
amazing.
It was
Weed 3
it was
thing.
hysterical, and I loved it. But I felt almost kind of bad for him because I could tell
Was that Jose?
Yeah.
he'd been put in a position where there was no winning for him.
Two that I remember being at in person were the infamous Konami one. The one where there's all the highlight clips of
The one that made them stop doing press conferences.
Wait,
because
yeah,
they
with
got
the one
so
guy
much shit.
the one guy standing behind the guy creepily, and the other guy talking about, was it 99 Nights or something? Where there's just like 6 or 7 different presentations, and they were all just unbelievably, cringy, like the email says. That's probably the worst overall presentation I've seen.
The one that ended with the Rock Revolution presentation. I don't remember if that was the one or not, but that was really bad.
I remember one that had like the Glee, like a bunch of high school singers running through the crowd from like for the Glee karaoke Wii game or something.
Right.
But the other worst one was it was like E3 07 or 08, and I used to, this was before I was a Game Informer or anything, so I had to pay my own way out. I was sleeping on a friend's floor, and so my friend was not a gamer. He's just a guy I went to college with, and I was like, here, I'll get you into E3, and so we just said, hey, you're my photographer for Lawrence.com. I just gave him my $100 Kodak or whatever, and sure enough, we just walked up there, and it's like, okay, sure. They gave him a badge and everything. So I take him to the Nintendo press conference back at the Kodak Theater, and that's the one that ended with the Wii Music thing.
Ravi drums.
Where it's Ravi drums and Miyamoto playing the imaginary flute, and they're all just dancing around on stage, and that's the big end of the press conference, and just looking over at him and just being like, what fucking industry is this that you work in? This is terrible.
It's drugs. It's a drug industry.
This is what Nintendo's doing now?
Ravi drums is definitely up there
That's
for me.
way up there.
Yeah.
The cosplay from
Oh
Ubisoft.
my god.
The what do you, What do you have to say? Engage.
Oh.
What? Okay. Remember that?
Yeah. That was a few years ago, right?
That was like
Assassin's Creed?
2 or 3 years ago. That was
You
Assassin's
really
Creed.
should not try to do improv on a press conference stage unless everyone involved knows how to do improv.
Well, it's not. Well, okay. So a lot of problems there. First one is Aisha Tyler going up to somebody and is like, oh, you must be a huge fan dressing up like Assassin's Creed. Why are you here? I'm paid to be here. Okay.
No one told me that.
Yeah. Thanks, everybody.
Was anyone there for the Jamie Kennedy one?
No, I was not there for that.
That's terrible, but that seems like a Louis C.K. said compared to Mr. Caffeine. Like, Mr. Caffeine
Oh
is
my
still-
god.
What the hell's that?
I was
put him out
so
of my brain.
happy.
Ubisoft.
Oh my! This was like
They
4
always
or
have
5 years
weird
ago, and from the moment they started the thing by being like, "Okay, it's to MC our presentation this year. Here's Mr. Caffeine," and nobody had ever heard of this guy, and just from the name, I was like, "Okay, this is going to be great." And he was so much better. I say better in like just the worst schlocky like '80s stand-up comic kind of way.
Wow.
It was so
It was
so
hell
bad.
on earth.
He like transitioned, like the whole theme was like, oh, remember back in the day, like a retro stuff or Ubisoft through the years or something. And so in between every segment, he does the Wayne's World.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
Oh my God, there's a whole highlight video. Yeah, Vinny, you see it on YouTube there. He kept saying Tom Clancy instead of Tom Clancy. Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six. It was
poor
so good.
Yeah, I would say most of Ubisoft
Yeah.
has been.
The Joel McHale stuff was always very
But
bad.
I think Aisha Tyler's been doing a pretty good
Oh,
job.
no,
does
she's,
all right.
and I think she's kind of reined it in a little bit in
Yeah.
recent years. Like, hey, please stop putting me in these positions where I just can't win.
But they had like their whole laser tag thing. Remember when they all ran out and played laser tag? There was the pseudo one where he did the. Do you ever wonder what the bottom of an avatar's shoe looked
Yes.
like? Where
Microsoft's had some real bad
yes,
ones
with
too.
Kinect stuff.
Kinect
stuff was
Kudo,
bad.
right? Kudo?
Oh, sorry. Yeah,
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah.
Kudo,
The
that's
one
it.
where the first one where they showed the Xbox 360 and they brought all those like 20-something commercial actors to come out and
Sure.
talk about
Yeah.
how Xbox was part of their lifestyle brand.
Yes.
That was infuriating.
Yeah, that was rough.
There was the one where they were showing off Skyward Sword, I want to say, and they had the thing where you would throw off the beetle and you'd use the Wiimote to kind
That
of
was
like fly it
sad.
around, but it wasn't working. And it's
That
Miyamoto,
was sad.
and it's not working. And that's the one where he apparently just exploded backstage afterwards.
That made me feel bad,
Yes.
not cringe. Like, he
But it's
just
hard to
wants to have
watch.
fun. Yeah, it was hard to watch.
yeah.
Yeah, I feel like they've gotten better. Like,
I mean, the thing
they've
is,
taken fewer risks, and for that, it's probably gotten better.
for the amount of like money you have to spend for those conferences, I think at some point someone was like, we have to just make these as polished and frankly, just uneventful as possible. Just focus on the products.
There was that infamous 06 PlayStation 3 one with the giant enemy crabs, and where they have $600 and the Ridge Racer and all that stuff.
Yeah, I think they've reined it in, and they're a little more canned. Ubisoft still kind of goes off the rails in real crazy ways, and we'll see if they're getting that Mario money. Let's see what happens now. They're just gonna come running out on a stage and their heads will explode.
Oh, Jeff, I'm going to send you Mr. Caffeine. It's the best.
I'm looking at some stills here.
It doesn't do it justice.
It's bothering me.